Suarez, one of the fiber artists involved in the 2012 World of Threads Festival. Ixchel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for this invitation, Megan.
Ixchel Suarez is an incredible artist and a treasure that we have here in Oakville. So I'm pleased to be here speaking to you today to learn about the creative process behind getting involved in such a festival. First of all, how do you find out about these types of festivals? And then what's the process in getting involved?
Well, I have been doing textile art at the beginning, and I like to remark textile versus fiber nowadays because I think it's important. I am a formal tapestry weaver, and from there on I have been involved in many exhibitions here and abroad by getting together with artists that do the same thing with fiber-related materials.
So you mentioned the difference between textile and fiber.
Yes.
So what is that difference?
Well, you know what, some years ago, the categories for textile art were only related to weaving.
Okay.
Whereas nowadays it has expanded a little bit more into, because the felters, textile is an organized structure, whereas fiber could be disorganized.
Oh,
and
okay.
it could be the same, when you do the wool, and you spun and then you weave it.
Yeah.
But the felters are a disorganized set of layers of fleece or yarns or material.
Oh, okay.
So textile versus fiber, that would be for me the main difference. And nowadays, the forums for textile art have expanded the title into fiber to be more inclusive.
Oh, okay.
So then when the expansion comes up, not only the felters can participate, but also the paper makers.
Oh,
paper
wow.
is also pulp and fiber. So if the paper makers are here, so, it broadens, okay, then textile, if it's an organized structure, could be metal.
Oh,
woven.
wow.
So if it's metal and it's not only fiber, so, it's interesting to see how this merging of interesting disciplines have come to what we have today, like the World of Threads.
And the all-inclusiveness of it. And I mean, really, as an audience, it creates that variety and really understanding what the different materials can be in this type of exhibition, I guess.
Yes.
So now your specialty, when you applied, did you already have the pieces in mind, or do you know 2 years out, okay, I'm going to start working towards?
No, well, in my particular case, tapestry is very slow, so I have been working for an exhibition and I have several pieces. So you do the submission, and then the curators are the ones who put together ideas like this. Why the Quiet Zone has this concept, and the Memento Mori at Sheridan College, it's all related to death and transition, and the one at Joshua Creek, it's all the nature.
Yes.
So it happened to me that what I have been working the last almost 30 years has been the themes related to nature. I work a lot with photography.
Even before it was a theme that was presented for
yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it's part of what your creative outlet is. Anyway, well, I know I went with my kids to the Sheridan Gallery, and you've got a piece here at QEP, a piece in the Sheridan Gallery, and a piece at the Joshua Creek Heritage.
Actually, there are 5 pieces in Joshua Creek.
Oh, wow.
The big pieces.
Isn't that amazing? Well, I know that we were talking about the piece at the Sheridan, the tree, with the mirror behind, and your explanation. I mean, the creative inspiration behind those pieces. Maybe you can share with us a bit about that piece, but also about this piece that's hanging behind us as well.
They're completely different in a sense. It's all fiber, but what I wanted to make a contrast lately is I've been trying to experiment with different materials, and I found metal scrap and Brillo pad and cleaning scrubs and Egapack, so metallic yarns and beads. So since my theme is all related to nature, and the big piece was shown in Joshua Creek was a 4-meter tall birch tree.
Oh, wow.
I decided to make like the future version in textile form of the birch tree.
Yes.
So I came up with this metallic gray, lifeless. And then I said, no, I'm just more related into more organic, more nature sense. So I put mirrors behind.
Wow.
So the tree actually once you reflect yourself inside the tree, you give life to a lifeless, futuristic tree, metallic. So that was my statement.
Oh, that was, and I know my kids just lit up with it too. I mean, they really identified with it, which was interesting to see because my children are, from 5 to 10, so a different generation coming up and identifying with the fiber arts. Now, how about this piece that's behind us here?
This piece, again, I have been working with nature, and this interesting, I do a lot of photograph of details of nature and then expand them, and then I do the interpretation of fibers. But in this particular piece, I have been fascinated through an Isaac Asimov documentary about fractals in nature.
Okay.
And then I thought, wow, the repetition of the layers of the trees and the water flows and everything. So this is fractals from nature, and it's the repeated formulas of nature, but not precisely so strict. So even nature has a little bit of freedom to break from time to time these fractal sequences.
Oh, yeah.
So that was what I wanted to do.
It's amazing to me how much thought goes into these pieces too. The thought, it's a process, but you can see even when you're talking about it, the creative elements of that, and that it's important that there is that freedom to it as well. That it's
and sometimes the materials tell you what to do. I have been collecting materials here and there. Everywhere I go, I see something interesting and I just keep it. And then I have all my stash of materials. I have all my photographs, and suddenly I said, oh, they're talking to me, they're colors or senses or textures. And then I just come up with the idea of what do I want to say with those fibers? What do they want to say? What are they telling me? And it also refers to your state of mind and your age and your time, your family, everything was going on. And suddenly you start creating.
You bring your soul into it, so to speak.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you so much, Ixchel.
Thank you for this.
For sharing with us today. And what's next? What's coming up for you?
Very important things. I have a very big show next year in Burlington Arts Center in April, and I have an exhibition in Poland in May.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm going to the Triennial, which is one of the most largest forums for textile artists.
Oh,
this
congratulations.
Is it's more not only fiber, but it's more related to tapestry.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about it.
And how will people learn more about you as an artist?
Well, I have a blog. They can visit my blog, IxchelSuarez.com.
Great.
Or just Google my name and you'll find images if you want to see pieces of what I do.
Absolutely.
Questions, I'm more than open to share everything I can.
Thank you, Ixchel.
Thank you
so much.